I think we've got a good mock test tonight. I think it all makes sense. I just went through it. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I can explain to you why the answers are the way they are, which is always good. Okay, so Stephen also has an exam tomorrow in Manchester. And he has been advised that there's construction happening outside the exam center. It's not good. Anyway, that's all right. You'll have to just push through. It is quite distracting when you take the PTE, especially in the speaking section, because people are speaking next to you and it's distracting. It's like in the TOEFL, same thing in the TOEFL test, but you just have to do your best to ignore them and focus on what you're saying and what you're doing. There's not much you can do about that. Rosalie, Rosalie, if you're having difficulty with the PTE, especially in speaking, the OET is definitely less challenging in speaking. So that might be a good idea. Might be a good idea. Hello, Marion. All right, I think it's bang on 7:30 here in Melbourne. So let's get started. I'm just going to pop the link for the YouTube live stream into the chat. The reason why I'm doing this is because for some people, my screen looks blurry on your screen. If your screen looks strange at any point, you'll have to go into the chat and you'll have to click that link that I just put into the chat in Zoom. It'll take you to YouTube Live and you can watch it on YouTube Live and it won't be blurry, okay? So I'm sorry about that, but for some people, it seems like it affects about 10% of people. You'll have a blurry screen and you'll need to watch it on YouTube Live, okay? Sorry about that. I'll probably have to reiterate that message throughout this live class. Okie dokie, let's get started on this thing. Just let me bring up my slides. I think everything's cool. All right, rock and roll, guys. Let's begin the PTE reading live mock test. What we're going to do today is quickly have a chat about time management of the reading section. We'll do one multiple choice single answer, one multiple choice multiple answers, one reorder paragraph, one fill in the blanks, and one reading and writing fill in the blanks. That reminds me, before I continue on, as of next week, we have split the live classes into 2 streams. There will be a stream for 65s, people aiming for 65. The 65 live classes will be a little bit more explanatory. The methods will be a little bit more detailed, etc. Maybe slowed down a little bit. Those of you aiming for 79, we've added additional questions. It's going to be sort of hardcore test, mock test practice. The links to register for these, you can come to both if you want. You can come to both. There's only an hour difference between the two, or you can just choose the one you want to go to. The links to register will be updated in the website tomorrow afternoon, okay? I'll put a notification out so you'll see that when you log into the platform next. But anyway, so that's going to be really cool. Yeah, we think that that's a nice development. Okay, let's discuss time management briefly. So in the reading section of the PTE, you have to manage your own time. You get between 15 and 20 questions, and you get between 32 and 41 minutes total time, right? So for multiple choice single answer, of which you'll get 2 or 3, we recommend you spend about 2 minutes, and I'll time you in this live class. Multiple choice multiple answers, of which you'll get 2 or 3. The text is longer. We recommend you spend about 3 minutes. Reorder paragraphs, you'll get 2 or 3, spend about 2 minutes. Fill in the blanks, you'll get between 4 and 5. These should only take you 60 to 90 seconds. They're very short. Reading and writing fill in blanks, you'll get between 5 and 6, and you should spend around 2.5 minutes on each. Just let me make sure that everything's cool in the chat. I'll pop that YouTube live link in there one more time for those of you who have blurry screens for whatever reason. Let's have a think about multiple choice, choose single answer. This is what it looks like on test day. You can see the text here, right? You can see the answer options here. I think you get up to 5 possible answer options. You can see the question prompt here, which is absolutely critical. I'm going to explain the method to you here briefly. So I want you to read the question prompt. I want you to ignore the answer options. I want you to go straight from the question prompt to the text. So try to answer the question yourself before looking at the answer options. Try to think, I think I know the answer to this one. Then what you do is you go, oh, okay, it's not that one, it's not that one. Oh, it's this one. Yes, that's close to my understanding, so you select that one. What we found is if you read this and then read these, by the time you get to here, you're completely confused. So here's the method again very quickly. Understand the question prompt. Deep read the text. You have plenty of time to deep read it. It's short. Reread the prompt. Reread the answer options. Match your understanding to the closest answer option in terms of meaning. Let's do this one here. You have 2 minutes. Start now. Okie dokie. I think that's enough time. That's 2 minutes. This is pretty straightforward, I think. It wasn't too challenging. Looks like most people are choosing either C or D. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, I thought this one would be easier. I thought this one would be easier. Uh-oh, I hope my explanation makes sense. Let's have a look at, no, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's read the question prompt. Okay, so we're going to forget this for a second. We're going to read this. In the writer's view, what is the most important characteristic of cities? So the person's probably going to say many things about cities here. In fact, the whole text is about cities, but what's the most important characteristic according to the writer? Okay, is it that the people are more civilized in cities? Is it they are associated with the Bronze Age? They are permanent settlements. Many city dwellers are dependent on others for food production. With the emergence of cities comes the emergence of new non-agrarian jobs. This one sounds very sophisticated. Actually, most people got it right. It was in fact D. Many city dwellers are dependent on others for food production. You can see here the critical difference is that a city contains a number of people who do not provide for their own support. Here it mentions food, and here it also mentions dependent on others to feed them as well. So if you got D, well done. That wasn't too difficult. That was pretty straightforward. Do we have any happy people? Cool. Yeah, reasonably easy. You might get one like that in the test, hopefully. So your running tally so far is out of 1. Let's do multiple choice, choose multiple answers. This is what multiple answers looks like on test day. Now it's quite different. In single answer, the text is 110 words max. Here it can be up to 300 words. So it's nearly 3 times as long, this text. And here you can see in the answer options, they now have little squares where you can check more than one answer. I'm going to run through the method here, and then I'll run through the method in detail in a second. What I want you to do is read the question prompt. It's usually going to ask something about which of the statements are true, which are correct, which are accurate, or something like that. Now, then I want you to speed read the text. Just for like 20 seconds, 20 to 25 seconds, just quickly reading through this, get an idea of what's going on, picking up keywords. The real critical aspect happens here though. What you need to do is identify keywords like 2 million people, right? Then you're going to be scan reading this for keywords like 2 million, 2 million. Well, 1870 is not right. Oh, population. Okay, here we go. Here's an interesting keyword. So once you've identified the keyword, both in the question, in the answer option and in the text, then you need to do a close reading. And you need to ask yourself, does this say the same thing? So this says just under 2 million people live in Botswana. This says the population's 1.8 million. I think that would be a yes. You would probably check that one if this is, yes, Botswana. Good, something like that. So keyword here, find the corresponding keyword. Let's run through this here, forget that. Read the question prompt, speed read the text, identify the keyword in the answer option, like blackbird or whatever it is. Find the corresponding keyword in the text, read carefully, ask yourself, does the answer option say the same thing as the text? If yes, check it. If no, leave it. We'll come back and talk about scoring in a minute. Away you go. If this is blurry on your screen, please click the YouTube live link in the chat. Okay, I'm going to give you an extra minute because this is quite long and challenging. Okie dokie. I've just realized that A is not a good one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with A there, but let's have a look. The key word here and here, well, there are probably two. You want to look for forest and amygdala. Forest is a keyword and amygdala is a keyword too. Now it mentions amygdala a number of times in the text. Amygdala, amygdala, and it mentions it one more time, which I can't quite find right now. But here we can see the other keyword, forest. So we're probably going to read down here to find out if A is valid or not. Same with B, we're going to use the word amygdala again as a keyword, but then we're going to look for country dwellers. And there might be a synonym here, so it might just say people who live in the country or something like that. Anyway, let's run through the answers here. Living near a forest has a positive impact on the amygdala. It says city dwellers living close to a forest were more likely to show indications of a physiologically healthy amygdala. I would say that that's yes, but then further down it says it is not possible to distinguish whether living close to a forest really has positive effects on the amygdala. Oh, okay, then it's contradicted. So what are we going to do here? Are we going to keep it or leave it? Yes or no? I think we're going to dismiss A. We're going to move on to B. B says country dwellers are likely to have a less active amygdala. The text says comparisons show higher activity levels in city dwellers than in country dwellers' amygdala. Yes or no? Do they say the same thing? Yes or no? They say the same thing, but they don't say it directly. They don't say talk about country dwellers having a less active amygdala. They talk about city dwellers having a higher active, more active amygdala. So we're going to keep that one because they effectively say the same thing in different words. C, city dwellers living near forest areas have a greater likelihood of coping with stress than city dwellers not living near forest. The text says those city dwellers living close to a forest were more likely to show indications of a physiologically healthy amygdala structure and were therefore presumably better able to cope with stress. Do these two say the same thing? Yes or no? Yes, they do. Let's move to D now. Kahn found that the environment can shape brain function and structure. The text says something about Samuel Kahn and Kahn, but this particular sentence here says research on brain plasticity supports the assumption that the environment can shape brain structure and function. Kahn and his colleagues were interested, So did Kahn find that out? Yes or no? We can tell from this sentence that Samuel Kahn did not do the research on brain plasticity and the environment shaping brain function and structure. Other people did. So we're going to leave that one. What about E? City dwellers' mental health is affected by income levels. Please read the text. Yes or no? No. It's not saying anything about income levels affecting mental health. It's using income levels as a control in the study, which is different. Even if you're not sure what that means, controlled for in a study, if it doesn't, you should be able to tell if it says the same thing, even if it's quite confusing. But this doesn't, so we're going to leave that. So the answers are in fact B and C. B and C. Who got B and C? Leah says that was so confusing. Yes. Okay, who got B and C? Okay, yeah. Okay, somebody had B, C, and D. Interesting. All right, good. Let's quickly discuss scoring while we do that. Let's go back and discuss scoring. Okay. So imagine that there are 5 answer options and A and B are correct, right? So if you select A and you select B, then you'll get 2 points. Well done. If you select A and you select C, well, that's 1 minus 1. That's 0 points. If you just select A, that's okay. You can walk away with 1 point. If you select C and D, which are both wrong, well, you get 0 points. It doesn't go to negative less than 0. If you choose nothing, well, you definitely get nothing. If you choose A, B, and C, well, that's 2 minus 1. You walk away with 1 point. Cool. That was a relatively difficult one. So I gave you a pretty simple single answer and quite a challenging multiple answers there. Now, I hope this one's going to be okay, this reorder paragraph. Let me take you through this one. So this is what reorder paragraphs looks like on test day. You can drag and drop the sentence in here, I believe, from memory, or you can just use these arrows. You click on it and then you push it across and you can move it up and down as well. The name of the game is to reorder the paragraph into the correct sequence. How you do that is by finding the independent sentence first. Let's go back and see if we can find it here. One was a priest in Rome. No. Which Saint Valentine this early pope intended to? No. Pope, whatever his name is, the first, recast this pagan festival. No. The history of Valentine's Day is obscure and further clouded by various fanciful legends. That one looks like a very good independent sentence, for example. So what you're doing is eliminating ones that are impossible, thinking to yourself, which sentence would make a good introduction to the paragraph, like a topic sentence? Once you've done that, you then need to think about the relationship between the sentences. And how you do that is you think, okay, there's information here in the object of the sentence. Valentine's Day, for example. And then the subject of the following sentence might say something like this special holiday. So Valentine's Day is transferred in information-wise to the subject, this special holiday, blah, 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 is for lovers. And let's say the object talks about lovers. And then here it talks about people getting married. So maybe it's this object or buying gifts for each other, something like that. So that's how the sentences connect. You can use grammar to help you, such as and how it transforms to the on the next use. Each sentence should connect. Check to see if the whole paragraph makes logical sense. If there's any disconnects, you know you have a problem and you should try to reorder. Let's do this one. All right, that was let's have a look. Okay, just going to pop the YouTube link into the chat one more time. If your screen is blurry for whatever reason, it's not formatting, click that link in the Zoom chat. Yeah, cool. All right, this was an interesting one. Okay, do you want another? I'm going to give you another 30 seconds because I'm getting lots of different answers here, which is probably not good. Take another 30 seconds. All right, let me take you through this first. I'm going to give you the first sentence. The first sentence is C. What's the price on your integrity? Okay, so let's go through this. So let's go back. The answer is C. I'm going to give you one more minute. The first sentence rather is C. Away you go. All right, let's go through it. We'll reverse engineer it as we go. So what's the price on your integrity? What's the price on your integrity? You can indeed start a paragraph with a question. That's fine. Okay, what's the price on your integrity? Let's try A. You see, we all want to be honest, but at some point we'll lie. It's just, there's not enough of a connection from C to A. Let's try B. What's the price on your integrity? Go on, tell the truth. Everyone has a tipping point. That's kind of works, right? Because you're asking a question and then you're urging the reader to go on, tell the truth. Everyone has a tipping point. Okay, now which one connects? Everyone has a tipping point. Go on, tell the truth. Everyone has a tipping point. Let's try A. You see, we all want to be honest, but at some point we'll lie if the benefit is great enough. A is very good. Let's just try D. Go on, tell the truth. Everyone has a tipping point. They used advanced imaging techniques. No, let's try E. Go on, tell the truth. Everyone has a tipping point. Now scientists have confirmed the area of the brain in which we make that decision. What decision? It has to be A. You see, we all want to be honest, but at some point we'll lie if the benefit is great enough. Now scientists have confirmed the area of the brain in which we make that decision, the decision to lie. They used advanced imaging techniques to study how the brain makes choices about honesty. CBAED. CBAED. Who got CBAED? CBAED. Bum, 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 bum. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of people. Somebody mixed up E and D. That's right. It still means you get 3 pairs, I believe. So that's cool. Nice. Babarelli got it in the last 30 seconds. Nice. Great work. Yeah. So you can see how critical it is to get that independent sentence. Once you get the independent sentence, really slipping the rest in makes a lot more sense. If you screw up that independent sentence, you put another one there, it's hard. It's hard. It mixes everything up. Yeah. Cool. Well done. Somebody changed their answer in the last 30 seconds. So far we have 1 for multiple choice, single answer, 1 for multiple answers. There were 4 pairs. Let me just quickly tell you how the scoring works here. You get 1 point for every correctly pair. So C and B, B and A and E, E and D. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs there. So it's out of 4. So total running score is out of 7. Reading fill in the blanks. This is what it looks like on test day. You can see that the text is quite short. You have to drag and drop the sentence into the paragraph there. Okay, so first thing you need to do is skim read the text. What's it about? Well, the one before was about Botswana again, interestingly. Use your knowledge of grammar. What type of word can fit the gap? Let's look at here. Endures as a verb, because a conjunction, enjoyed as a past participle, continent, a noun, remains as a, excuse me, a verb, while as a conjunction, suffered as a past participle. So if you know, for example, that this word here has to be a noun because this is an adjective, well, there was only one noun, which was this one. So it would have to go here. So grammar can help you. But other than grammar, you need to think about natural phrases or collocations, words that commonly appear together to form natural phrases. Check by reading the Finnish text. Away you go. Okie dokie. I'll give you another 20 seconds or so. All right, let's do it. So one theory argues, let me just go back so that time is not distracting you. One theory argues that 50% of, I think we're going to need a noun there. And probably a plural noun between managers' reactions to, here's the noun here, so we probably need an adjective. Let's go through. Differences. Reactions to, what's the collocation here? Something situations, belief situations, novel situations, assess, evaluate, does, place. Novel situations is the collocation, are explained by cultural differences. Now a new study has determined that culture does something. We're going to need a verb here. Well, culture does little or does or plays a part. Well, plays a part is the collocation there. Plays little or no part in leaders' management of their employees. This finding could impact how managers are trained and probably be a similar word to trained with an ED on the end, evaluated globally. So the answers are differences, novel, plays, and evaluated. How did you go? Nice. Cool. Jelani's having a good day. Nice work. 3 out of 4 for Pankaj. No problem. Lata got 1 wrong. Not too bad. A novel situation. So a novel, what's a novel situation? An unusual situation, a novel situation. Yeah, one that hasn't occurred before. something like that. It's just a funny phrase that we use. I don't really know why, because a novel's a book. There you go. Cool, so 4 points there. Running tally so far out of 11. Reading and writing fill in the blanks. This is what it looks like on test day. You can see the drop down lists here, and there'll be 4 answer options per drop down list. By the way, you'll notice that the timer is ticking down, right? So your item 12 of 18, you know you've got 6 left and you've got about 12 minutes. So you've got less than 2 minutes per item now. So you've got to do a little bit of mathematics in this test as you're going along, thinking, uh-oh, about 2 minutes per one. I better quickly hurry up a little bit through here. Forget the method, because there is no method for this one, really. What this one is, or is testing for, is your ability to choose the most precise word out of possible options. So all 4 options will be grammatically possible. Semantically, in terms of their meaning, all possible as well. The problem is 3 of them will be slightly wrong or a little bit imprecise, something like that. So you need to choose the one word that is best suited for this context to convey the right meaning. That's what this one's about. So it's really a test of your vocabulary. Away you go. Okay, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds. Oakley dokley, let's keep moving. Okay, so how do we do this then? Basically what we do is we have to insert each of these words and try them. So archaeologists have unmasked. What you also need to do is find the word that this connects to. So a city, it connects to city. Okay, so they've unmasked a city, unveiled a city. Archaeologists have uncovered a city or disclosed a city. So uncovered a city is the best choice of word there. The burrowing work, the digging work, the unearthing work, the excavation work. There you go. Excavation is the most precise word there. Blah, 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 blah. The small village was, here we go. See how this works? This is quite interesting, actually. So here you find the subject, the small village. Let's just make it small village. Or just the village was, So you can skip all of this extraneous information you don't need. The village was built in 3000 BC, was established, settled, or entrenched. Here, the most precise word there is established, and was able to flourish for more than 1200 years. The archaeologists also discovered stuff dating from, overlap dating from, layers or beginnings. This is a strange one. The best word here is actually layers, because I guess as archaeologically things happen in layers, I suspect. Okay, let's move down to here. As a result, they were able to, okay. How does this work? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Forget as a result. They were able to avoid the construction work on a highway, preempt, exclude, or forbid. Well, I can't really explain to you why this is the correct one, but preempt is the most precise word there, mainly because avoid construction work is incorrect, it's imprecise. Exclude is definitely wrong, and forbid is the wrong word as well. So preempt is the only possible word that fits there. So if you got uncovered, excavation, established, layers, and preempt, that was a really hard one. Who got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Who got 5 there? If you got 5, you did incredibly well. Someone got 4. 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 1, 4, 5. Naushad, well done. That's hard work. Yeah, cool. Okay, someone got 0. That's all right. We're here to practice. Okay, why not stuff? Because it's just the wrong word. It's just not a precise word. That's why not. Okay. Isn't establish only for buildings, not villages? Let's. Good question. You can establish a village, I guess. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I don't know. Cool. Okay, let's push on. So how did you go in your total score out of 16? What was your total score? Whoopsie. Let's have a look. 10, 15, 13. Whoa, somebody got 16. Fantastic. 12, 12, 11, 14, 11, 13, 9, 10, 11, 8, 10, 9, 14, 12, 11, 10, 8, 9, 12, 13, 9, 10. Nice work. That's okay. Let's do a little analysis now. If you didn't get a top score, why not? We need to figure out where the problem is so you know what to work on. By and large, or the most likely reason why you didn't get a top score is probably lack of vocabulary. The PTE reading section is vocabulary driven. Perhaps it was a lack of collocations for fill in the blanks, for example. Maybe you couldn't identify the subtle differences between words for reading and writing fill in the blanks, the subtle difference in meaning. Perhaps you're reading too slowly, or in other words, you didn't have enough time to read carefully. Maybe in reorder paragraphs, you can't identify that independent sentence, which is so critical. Maybe in reorder paragraphs, you couldn't see the links between the sentences. Maybe you didn't understand the subtleties of grammar, because grammar actually contains meaning itself. Maybe you didn't really understand what to do in the question, so you didn't understand the method, or perhaps you panicked, in which case it's good to panic now. And if you do panic on test day, well, so be it. I say panic. And yeah, good. All right. Got any questions? Pop them into the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube Live, come back to Zoom now to put your questions in, please. Jay, I scored 13 out of 16. Does that mean I'll get 79? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good score, so that's well done. Vinu, in reading multiple choice, if the question prompt says choose the wrong option. Oh, okay, good one. I think I know what you mean. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's think about multiple choice, multiple answers, right? Let's say there are 5 answer options. First one says Jay has a red car. And the text says Jay has a black car. So that's definitely contradictory, right? So you just wouldn't choose that one. Next one says Jay's car goes fast. And the text says Jay's car is incredibly fast. So yes, you would tick it because it says the same thing. The next one says Jay really likes his new car, right? And the text doesn't say anything about that. I don't think that actually happens. That happens a lot in IELTS. That's where I'm pulling this from with true, false, not given in IELTS. I don't think this happens in the PTE multiple choice, multiple answers. If you do come across that though, and you just cannot find information on it, it is incorrect because you'll need information to confirm the answer. Good question, Vinu. Well done. Leah, I wanted to ask a question about mock test. Do you know whether ptemocktest.com is legitimate? I'm wanting to take a mock test to see where I'm at with the test. No, it's not. The only legitimate mock test site is ptepractice.com. It's the official practice test from Pearson. That's the only legitimate one. That's the only one we recommend. Nandini, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Nandini. That's nice. Vinu, Jay, I'm facing problems in repeat sentence and write from dictation. Sometimes I miss prepositions or I miss articles. Sometimes I say singular instead of plural. Yeah, okay, I think that's probably the main problem of most people. Okay, so there are 2 types of words. Okay, so vocabulary you can split into 2 categories. You can split it into meaningful words, words that have, like if I say to you computer, or I say to you didgeridoo or light, you know, these have meaning, or verbs like run or drink, right? There's meaning involved in these words. So there's meaningful words like nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Then there are grammatical words that don't have meaning, and their job is to just stick words together in a sentence like the, or of, or could, or and. These are grammatical words. So in repeat sentence and write from dictation, most likely you're going to pick up the meaningful words and you probably miss the grammatical words. So you need to think to yourself, wow, in repeat sentence, because it's so immediate, it's very difficult. But in write from dictation, because you have a little bit of time to actually can put that sentence back together, you need to think, well, this is most likely going to be a plural noun with an S on the end. Therefore, you know, it's hard. It's hard. It's a good question, Vinu. Well done. It's a good question. I unfortunately, it really is a test of your language skills, because what you ultimately want is for that grammar to come out immediately and naturally, and you don't really have to, you know, think about it. Harish, Jay, can we rely on Microsoft Word for spelling and grammar check? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. Jobert, Jay, I'm having a problem with summarized written text. Any tips and suggestions? Yeah. Okay, for summarized written text, you get the passage of text and you need to summarize it into 1 sentence. The key is to not get stuck in the text itself. Read it, take notes of main ideas, then turn your notes into the sentence. Don't try and pull words and phrases. You also have to ignore a lot of the text, right? You're just picking up the key pieces, putting it into your notes, and then writing your sentence from your notes. So you have to ignore a lot. That's an important one. Jay, quick question. What is the equivalent of B in OET to PTE? I think it's 65. Rupam, Jay, sometimes in summarized written text, last paragraph contains the summary. In such cases, I can just paraphrase the already stated summary. I'm not sure about that. I don't think in the real test they would do that, so just be careful. Mahesh, in multiple choice, multiple answers, will there be only two correct options, answer options, or more? I think two or three. Two or three. When I did my test, I remember I got two and then two and then two again. And I started thinking, what's going on here? So just be careful. Two or three usually. I don't think they would put four, but who knows? Jules, how to make a schedule and how much time you need to practice hours a day? Well, there's two ways to study. One, you can do a deep dive into a section, right? You can just say, okay, for the next 3 days, I'm just going to do speaking and just focus on read aloud and describe image and do all the practice and watch all the methodology lessons and submit all your assessments. Probably not the best thing to do. I think it's best to do a little bit of speaking, a little bit of writing, a couple of read alouds, a couple of describe images, a couple of summarized written text. Work your way across rather than down through the content. Ishvindapal, does content matter in retell lecture when we have to retell the lecture, as it also contains some part of scoring from the listening section? Yes, it does. You need to make sure you're speaking on topic. That's why writing down those keywords is so critical. Mintu, please explain avoid and preempt. You'll have to look it up in the dictionary. Arjun, it's hard to explain stuff, just specific words like preempt. Arjun, will skimming the options help considering time pressure? In terms of the answer options, you need to read them deeply. In terms of the text, you need to skim read that. Santosh, if two pairs are correct, but they are in different order, do I still get points? Yes. So if, let's say with reorder paragraph, it's like B and C are the correct, if you get these two together. Now that can come right at the top or right at the bottom, you'll get 1 point. But obviously if you put it in the wrong place, then you're going to get something else wrong up there. Jay, in read aloud, if it's a very difficult word that I can't pronounce, is it better to ignore it or should I just say something? I think you should just say something and keep the oral fluency going. For example, let's say the word is implausible and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And you get to it and you're like, whoa, what's that? You can just say impossible, something like that, because at least your oral fluency score will remain. Jay, can we use the tab key on the keyboard in the PTE? Yes, you can. I'm quite sure you can, because in highlight, fill in the blanks, I think yes, just test it on test day, but I'm pretty sure you can. Antonio, Jay, do you have any suggestion to build vocabulary? Yeah. I suggest that you focus on those meaningful words only. Remember, we talked about meaningful words and grammatical words. Grammatical words are kind of useless because they're hard to learn, if not impossible. What you want to do is you want to learn nouns, verbs, and adjectives, especially nouns and verbs, right? They make up, nouns and verbs will probably make up 80% of the vocabulary in English. There's a lot. Nouns are things, verbs are doing words, right? Does. So what you want to do is you want to start a little book, carry around a little book, and you want to split it into 3 parts. In the first part, you're going to write down all the new nouns that you hear and see. Second part of the book, you're going to write down all the new verbs that you hear and see. Now once you've done that, you can then start to think, okay, I can apply grammatical rules to these words. Like for the nouns, if you have a noun, I can't think of one off the top of my head that's difficult. Well, you know that you can put an S on the end to make a plural. And for the verbs, well, you know how to make it into past tense and present perfect continuous, and etc. So nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And you should be reading quite a lot and noting down new words, translating them. Do whatever you can, really. There's no easy way to do it. It's tough. Mahesh, in multiple choice, multiple answers, will there be only, I've answered that one. Rosalie, Jay, any advice? Rosalie, please send your message through to help.e2language.com. Jay, I missed out on writing by 1 mark. I have a big problem with summarized written text. Well, also keep in mind that write from dictation contributes to your writing score, as well as reading and writing fill in the blanks. Anything else? And summarize spoken text, as well as write essay, as well as summarize written text. So in fact, there are 5 tasks that contribute to your writing score. So don't just focus on write essay, summarize written text. Focus on the other 3 too. Marlon, if when I answer the question in the exam, the computer takes it after I press next, this means that I lose my question or submit it. Okay, so yeah, let's say you're doing read aloud and you've got 40 seconds to read the paragraph. You finish at 32 seconds, you click the next button. It's like a save button as well, so you don't lose it. I used the next button when I did my test. Jay, in read aloud practice, I'm facing voice recording, not recording properly. Please send that issue. Make sure, first of all, you're using Google Chrome as your browser. Everyone should be using Google Chrome. And if the issue persists, please send it to help.e2language.com. Jay, is it okay to write up to 74 words in summarized written text using a semicolon? No. It's possible, but it's not advisable. And the reason why it's not advisable is even very, very competent native English speaking writers probably can't write a 74-word grammatical sentence. It's very hard to control your grammar when it gets that long. It gets really wonky. So, aim for about 30, 35 words. You can use a semicolon. But you don't need to write 74 words. Yes, I've answered that one. Karim Nabil, I don't have material to study. How can I get it? I don't know. E2 language. Is it necessary to always give an example in the essay body paragraphs? Yes, it is. Always give an example in your body paragraphs. Do reading scores have an impact on other modules? Yes. Yes, they do. So reading and writing fill in the blanks influences your writing score. Speaking read aloud influences your reading score. Summarize written text influences your reading score. Yeah, I think that's it. There's another one as well in listening that influences your reading score. Jay, would spaces between punctuation or words and a full stop lead to a low score? Yes. You should, if you're writing a question, for example, and you press space question mark, that would be considered an error. So your punctuation needs to be flush up against your word. You don't put a space between the punctuation and the word. Interesting. Okay. Jay, in answer short question, are there pictures and questions? Yes, sometimes in answer short question, there'll be an image, like a very simple graph. It'll say like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. And the question will be like, what hobby does John play on Wednesdays at 4 p.m.? And you need to quickly go, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 p.m., basketball. So that might happen to you as well. You just need to think quickly. That's really about rapid thinking. Okay. Jay, which one is easier? IELTS, is it easier to score an 8 in IELTS general or 79 in PTE academic? Well, that's the ultimate $1 million question. Achieving an 8 in IELTS writing is extremely challenging. That's all I'm going to say. Summarize spoken text should be within 70 words or can exceed. Within, don't write more than 70 words. Okay, good one. Interesting. Okay. Arjun. Jay, I've given the PT 8 times. I need nearly, in each section, I'm short by about 7 to 9 points. I've really lost confidence. What features should I focus on in the E2 resources? Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. It's full on. These tests are full on, especially when people start to fail multiple times. I don't know I don't know what package you're on, but I think spending some time speaking to the teacher in a tutorial would be extremely helpful, even if it's just for your mental health as well. It's nice to talk to people. Yeah, and also to get some specific advice about what you might be doing wrong as well. So yeah, you might want to think about that. Send us a message at help.e2language.com. Jay, is the E2 language essay structure applicable for any sort of essay in the PTE? Yes, it is. You have to manipulate it and change it a little bit, but ultimately it's the same structure you use. You might have to change the introduction slightly. Oh, okay. Tushar. Jay, my Pearson speaking score is less than 30. However, my E2 language assessments are on average about 80. Wondering why. Oh, Tushar, sometimes the PT really, some people's voices, accents perhaps doesn't pick them sometimes. Very rarely it has problems like this. So what I would do is go to ptpractice.com. I would use a proper microphone, either one like this that you plug in with a USB, or your microphone from your phone, like earphones, and I would do it properly. Now, here's the thing that I want you to do when you're doing this next mock test. Overemphasize your intonation. So when you're reading the read aloud paragraph, don't read it like this. The man was speaking at the thing and he said that there was lots of people. Your pronunciation might be perfect, but you need to ramp up the emphasis, the rhythm, the pausing in the correct places, the intonation, the ups and downs. You need to say, the man, while he was riding his bicycle, da 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 da. You need to do that. Everyone should do this in the PTE because the PT is picking you up on oral fluency, like your waveforms. You know, when you speak into the computer and you can see the waveforms, you need to have quite emphatic waveforms. You just need to read with meaning, actually. That's what it really comes down to. Okay. Couple more questions. Jay, where do the grammar and vocabulary marks come from? So grammar comes from, I think, 3 places. Comes from the essay, of course, summarized written text, summarized spoken text. Vocabulary comes from those places as well. Actually, I can't answer that off the top of my head. I'm sorry. Jay, can you please give me some guidance on summarized spoken text in listening? I find it difficult to catch the words. Yeah, you need to work on your note-taking skills. Even if that means just listening to some lectures on YouTube, just grabbing a pen and paper and just listening, writing as you're listening, like that. It's not something you can just do automatically. It's something you need to practice, and it's an important skill for this test and for other times in your life as well. Lata Franton, Jay, do we book the study plan before we give the mock test or after? Do it after. Do it after. Good idea. Jay, is it better to use my assessment before I book my tutorial or after? Before your tutorial. So it'll go mock test or your other test scores, study plan, practice, assessments, then tutorials. Yeah, you want to get some feedback before you enter your tutorial. Cool. All right. Okay. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question, but there were 112 questions in this live class. So I'm going to pull the pin there actually, and I'm going to give you the website in case you need to ask some questions. Just go to this website here, help.e2language, whoopsie, langlanguage.com. help.e2language.com. Go to that website there and you can submit a ticket, right? So a question, and we'll give you the answer to your question. Cool. I hope it was helpful, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, and I hope you learned something. I will see you soon.